So welcome to this class, which is our last session. This is our last session, session 10. In this unit, we have 10 sessions, and we have gone through all of them systematically up to this last session. So we want to look at legal and ethical issues in academic writing and information literacy. And there is the issue of copyright and the issue of plagiarism. So there are legal aspects of academic writing, and we expect the learning outcomes are explain the fundamental principles and concepts of copyright law, analyze the ethical implications of copyright law on access to and use of information, outline different forms of plagiarism. Of course, this one, we may not go deeper into it, but you need to know the different types of plagiarism, and then discuss the consequences of plagiarism in academic and professional contexts. So what is copyright? Yeah. So we'll talk about copyright. We are talking about the legal provision that protects original works and grants the creators exclusive rights to reproduce, distribute, perform, display, and create their works. So you as a creator, the law protects you from those who want to steal your works and reproduce it. So the law does not allow, for example, if I've published my book, for you to just go and photocopy. When you are photocopying, you are reproducing my work, and it's transgression of the copyright law. It is not allowed. So as an owner of a work, I should go to the Kenya Copyright Board, and then I register my work. I protect, my creation. So there are some titles that you produce as a writer, especially literary works are a part of these intellectual properties that as a writer, you have, the right to. For example, there is the word Lilliput. The word Lilliput was invented by Jonathan Swift in 1776. So Jonathan Swift has a right to the word Lilliput. And you cannot just reproduce that particular work, or that particular invention without the rights without being given rights. Although there are a number of years you are given after the death of the author. After a number of years, the work becomes public domain. It goes into the public domain. It becomes public property. For example, the works of Jonathan Swift, by now, they are in the public domain. If you want Gulliver's Travels, which is published in 1776, you can just get it online free of charge, because it's many years since he passed on. So copyright has limitations, as we are going to see. So for our work to be eligible for copyright, it must be original and fixed in a tangible medium of expression. So it must be your original production. It must be your original idea. When you come up with an invention, the designs of that invention is intellectual property. If the person who invented the atomic bomb, there is a design, the formulas that he came up with, and the design that he created, And later on, I'm told he sold it to Russia. He sold it to Russia. He's the one who brought competition between United States and Soviet Union um, over nuclear competition. He's the one who brought that, because he sold it secretly to Russia or the Soviet Union at that time. So intellectual property is very important. It is very important. So there are rights that this law protects. For example, economic rights, the right for creators to authorize, prohibit reproduction, distribution, public performance, importation, broadcasting, of their works. And of course, they also have the right to do what? To sell that particular idea, so that they get economic benefits. Moral rights, So they have the right to claim ownership of a work and protect a work from distortion or modification in a way that can cause harm. So if you have produced a piece of art, if it is a drama, a play, for example, you have the right to stop any reproduction that can cause public that can transgress public morality. You can stop. You have the right to say that is not what I meant, and any reproduction of my work to cause public harm is prohibited. Is prohibited. Any such reproduction is prohibited. So the moral rights remain even after the owner has transferred the economic rights of the work. So even if the rights of the work are transferred to someone else, for example, now we are talking about the issues of same-sex relationships, heterosexual relationships, and same-sex relationships. Like personally, I'm heterosexual, and I cannot allow someone to use my production to promote queer morality. Because so every author has certain principles. As a producer, there's a creed. There's a creed you subscribe to. So if you promote gayism, you have to state it in your creed. That is what we call an author's credo, where you write statement of commitment, you write your statement of ethics. So personally, I'm heterosexual, and you cannot use my work to promote same-sex morality. So you have the right to speak. Yeah, like I've had challenges with publishers who promote queer relationships, and sometimes they have wanted me to subscribe to their philosophy, and I just disagree. So an inventor, you must have a credo. A credo is your statement of ethics, what you stand for in terms of morality, so that your work should actually be consistent um, with what you stand for. Then other related rights, we have what we call related rights or neighboring rights. These are rights granted to performers, producers of sound recordings and broadcasting organizations over the performance and broadcasting of their works. So you can, for example, if you are in the media sector, you can produce a certain program, like you can see JK Live. JK Live. He may not be in Citizen now, but you can see that program JK Live is still running under someone else. So those are what we call related rights. Or sometimes you can carry a program and move with it. You can see a news anchor or a celebrity moving from Citizen with his program to NTV. Yeah. So, but you can see Jeff Koinange is a good example. He is not appearing in Citizen, but JK Live is still operating in his name. So those are what you call related rights. Related rights. He has granted those rights to Citizen as a producer to continue the program in his name. To continue with the program in his name. Duration of copyright. That is what I alluded to. Duration of copyright. Yeah. So the duration of copyright varies from country to country. In Kenya, it is the lifetime of the author plus 50 years after their death. So you hold the copyright in Kenya all the years you have lived. If you have lived 85 years, I think Ngugi he lived for, is it 86 years? Then after his death in Kenya, his works, Ngugi still holds the copyright of his works for the next 50 years. So that is up to 20 what? 50 plus 25, up to 2075. Then from 2075, Ngugi's works will go into the public domain. That means you can use that work without even citing. You can use the work without citing. And that's why, like the Bible, if you quote from the Bible, you don't need to indicate the year of publication and the page. You don't need to, because the authors of the Bible died very long time ago. Died very long time ago. I think Revelation was written by John, the disciple. Yeah, and most of them died by around 100 AD. Most of them had died. So that one becomes public domain. Joint authors, it covers the lifetime of the authors and 50 years after the death of the last author. So as long as the author is still alive, their work cannot be in the public domain. But even after their demise, in Kenya, you have to wait for 50 years before you can use their work without citation. In other countries, you look at the lifetime of the author plus 70 years after their death. After their death. So for other countries, you just look at 70 years. So if you get a work by Fanon and you want to use without citation, ask yourself when Fanon died. Imagine it's as serious as that. I think Fanon died in 1963. So you try to count the years. 63, that's 37 plus 25. It's 52 or 53. So that one you cannot use it. You cannot use it for copyright because Fanon is outside Kenya and that is 70 years. So that's why whenever you write, ensure that you just cite to be safe. Just cite to be safe. But this one is copyright will only find you if you want to use the work without proper acknowledgement, or you want to reproduce it and change it in another way. So works by employees. So this one duration varies between 20 to 50. So for example, like Citizen Media or Royal Media, how can they own, for example, the works by Jeff Koinange or by those other news anchors, if they have produced some things, they can only possess 20 to 50 years after um, creation of that particular product. Then the employer can then possess it. So for related rights, the duration varies. For related rights, duration varies from 20 to 50 years. Like now we're talking about Jeff Koinange Live. How can they possess it? 20 to 50 years from the date of launching, but before that, they cannot possess. Citizen cannot possess that particular name. They will keep paying him for that name. Yeah, they have, even if he's not working there, they have to pay Jeff Koinange because he has enabled the visibility of that particular program. Now, then we have works in public domain. Yeah. So a work in public domain is not protected by copyright and might be used freely with no restriction. And mostly these are works by authors who passed on long time ago, like William Shakespeare. All the works by William Shakespeare can be found freely online, and you can use them without even quoting, because a work like Othello, yeah, Othello by William Shakespeare, I think it was published around 1594, yeah, 1594, and Shakespeare died around 1622. So you can see those are many years, and so those are books in public domain, yeah. Charles Dickens, I think he must have died in 1872. So all the novels by Charles Dickens are in the public domain. If you want A Tale of Two Cities, you just Google A Tale of Two Cities, get it and read it. So such books you don't need to, I even tell my students, they don't need to go and buy. Just get a PDF copy and read. And those ones you can use them the way you want, because they are in the public domain. So works whose owner fails to renew the copyright. If you cannot renew the copyright, then your work will be in the public domain. So you are supposed, but for us writers, mostly these publishers who do it for us, they will renew the copyright of the book and they will follow that, especially in traditional mode of publishing. Works whose copyright has expired. Yeah. So if the copyright has expired, then your work gets into the public domain. Works that do not qualify for copyright, there are works that cannot qualify for copyright. There are some works. For example, oral literature. If you give us a story from the Agikui community, you cannot write a story from the Agui community and then say, this is copyright 2026. You write, this is karaoke 2026. That is a property. That song is a property of or narrative is a property of the Kikuyu society. It is owned communally. So you cannot take an oral narrative um, or a song from a community and then copyright it. No. No, that is wrong. In fact, you are stealing from the community. So, like most material in oral literature, um, you cannot say that is copyrighted. You cannot say that is copyright material. So some works don't qualify. Of course, works that qualify, like literary works qualify. When you produce your poem, you produce your novel, you produce your song, yeah, that is copyrighted. Even your picture, you can protect it. If you produce a very good picture, nobody should just use it. You can copyright it. If it's getting a lot of attention, copyright it. So I'm saying, for example, don't just pick pictures online and you use them for your research. No, some of those pictures are copyrighted. So, and this is where now AI comes in. You can use AI to produce your own pictures for your books. Do not just pick somebody's picture and use it without their consent. Um, some of them are copyrighted. Like most of these celebrities, they copyright their pictures. And you will find yourself in trouble. So don't just misuse, and that is why AI comes in. It can help you. A picture you produce by AI is your picture. That one is your picture, and nobody will question you. And that's where now you can see AI has some of its mates. Like those of us who are very poor in drawing, you just give AI a concept, and then it draws a beautiful picture for you. Yeah. And that becomes your picture. You own it. Nobody will question you. But if you just go picking pictures online, you will end up in trouble. So works dedicated to the public by the owner. So an owner can produce a work and then dedicate it to the public and take it out free. Yeah, wants you to access it free of charge. So that is not that is also part of the public domain. What are the benefits of copyright? It promotes creativity so that artists and creators are able to benefit from their productions. Even scientists, yeah, when you make your innovation, yeah, you copyright it. You can copyright it. Also learn something about paternity or a patent. There's a way you register your patent, Scientists, ask your lecturers about patent, how to register your patent. Yeah. So if you design your thing, you have come up with your machine, that design is yours. Because once somebody gets that design, he will produce another one. So you must copyright your design and protect it. Even a scientist like doctors, a formula of making a drug, a formula of producing a drug, it has to be copyrighted so that when somebody wants to use it, they must pay you because that formula, once somebody gets it, they will be able to produce your drug and sell it. I'm told Coca-Cola has really been hidden. The formula for producing Coca-Cola, it has really been hidden and very few people know it. Very few people know it. Even if they try, they cannot produce Coca-Cola. So to promote creativity for economic growth. Number two, for economic growth, to assist the producers and inventors to benefit from their productions. And you discover that if you do something new, the government will also come in. It will also tax you. Um, it will also tax you because your idea is going to produce good results. And that's why you people, as intellectuals, when you become inventors, the whole society will benefit. So even as you learn, think about invention. Think about invention in your areas. And once you invent, you copyright your idea. The government will protect, and it knows it will also benefit from your creativity. So it enables the creators to have control over their works. Yes, because you are the creator, you have control over your work without somebody manipulating it, or somebody misusing it, or somebody using it to benefit themselves without your knowledge. Then promotion and preservation of culture, promotion and preservation of culture, promotion and preservation of culture, then protection against infringement. So you'll be protected against infringement. And then about culture, I think like the Maasai, yeah, there are certain things they produce and the government enables them to benefit from those cultural practices. Like the Maasai, some of their productions have been copyrighted and they do benefit from that culture. Otherwise, Europeans, when they come, they may take some of those productions and reproduce them abroad. And so with the copyrighted, once the ideas are copyrighted, then they are safe. Anybody who wants to reproduce must consult the authors, and they have to pay something. Then protection against infringement. You'll be protected against those people who misuse who misuse your production. Then encourages innovation. Yes. So copyright encourages innovation because once you innovate, your idea will be protected. Your idea will be protected. It promotes education and scientific advancement. Yes. When ideas are protected, people are encouraged to venture into science and advancement of society. So the use of production of copyrighted work without the owner's permission is referred to as copyright infringement. So if you just pick up my book and you start photocopying, you are committing copyright infringement, and I can send the police to arrest you. I can send the police to arrest you. Although photocopying, they usually give a minimum. Maybe you can photocopy up to 20 pages, but you don't photocopy the whole book. Yeah, you don't photocopy the whole book. Yeah, so that is a very short topic about copyright infringement and copyright. And then there's also a question. You can go and research on plagiarism. Plagiarism is academic theft. It's academic theft, and there is one called self-plagiarism, where you plagiarize from your own publications and all that. So go and research on that. But for today, that is the end of the lesson. So you have a question? Can you post it in the chat? Post the question in the chat. And as I've said, this is our last session. So we'll continue interacting on the chat. Do all the activities. Do the forums. I think a forum is a question. A forum is a discussion. Ensure that you upload your responses. Some people are saying they're having challenges with the forum. Always do all the activities, including forums, because they will contribute to your formative assessment. They will contribute to your continuous assessment. So past papers, you can find them in the library. Lecturers, we rarely keep past papers. You can find past papers in the library. Also, if you use MyLoft, I'm sure online search can also help you get past papers in the library. or you can ask Mr. Tutu. Can ask Mr. Tutu in the library. And this, because it's a very new unit, you only find papers for the one academic year. This unit has only been done once. That was the last academic year. So before that, we used to have communication skills, which does not have much to do with academic writing. Communication skills is only about mostly information literacy and maybe writing a term paper. It's called communication skills, UCU 100. But some questions there may also help you, but it's only one academic year. Um, Personally, I don't keep any past papers. I don't keep any past papers. You'll discover that lecturers are not like teachers. Um, Mostly they are producing knowledge. They are not interested in just revising past papers and walking around with the past questions. No, lecturers produce new knowledge. New knowledge. They strive with inventions. They don't just strive with the past papers. Tunatembea nazo ukirevise. So go to the library, but read the notes well. Read the notes well, the 10 topics, and make some notes for yourself. Are we going to attend next Tuesday? Unless maybe there is a topic you want us to revise, but this is our last topic. So next week, there is no lesson. Can I find this course handout in the library? Which handout? This course is online. Maybe you want to talk about, you are talking about a module, but the module is online. All the notes are online. This is an online course. And I doubt if there is, but you can ask, maybe you can ask Mr. Tutu. You can ask Mr. Tutu and Madam Roguru, but Mr. Tutu is the one who is at Murang'a University of Technology Library. Mr. Tutu, you can ask him whether there is a hard copy. But basically, go back. I will share some slides with you, make notes, and also the notes are also in the portal. Masomo portal, go through, read, and make notes. Um, mm, Exam will be physical. It is not online. The exam will be physical. The exam will be physical. So you will not get objective questions like A, B, C, D, A, B. There's nothing. Um, uh, yes, somebody's asking whether you pay for your work to be copyrighted. Yes. But it's not much. It can just be like 3,000 shillings. 3,000 shillings. Um, but for writing, for books, mostly it's publishers who pay. I've authored some books, and mostly my publishers will just pay for the copyright of the work. So I don't pay copyright personally. It's my publisher who pays. Um, how is the structure of UCU? We have section A and section B. Section A and section B. I think section A is 30 marks, short questions of 30 marks. Then section B, you can be given two questions and you answer one, each 20 marks. Is it? Is it each 20 marks or each 10? I don't know, but the best way is to look for the past paper we did last semester, so that you look at it. If I find one, I can avail a soft copy. Somebody is asking whether I'm in Kenya. I don't know why you want to know. I don't know why you want to know whether I'm in Kenya. Any other question? Can we revise the first 5 sessions since there were technical errors? Kuna kitu kama hiyo. I cannot revise the 5 sessions. No. This is an online lesson and you also need to read. My work is just to guide you. You read, you do the activities in the portal, You make notes. The notes are in the portal, and they're just simple things. You cannot go back. You cannot go back. You can just say maybe there's a topic which I have not understood. If there is a topic most of you have not understood, you say, and maybe you can create one session and go through. Ideally, somebody is asking, the full paper contains how many marks? Ideally, this unit is supposed to be 50 continuous assessment test and 50 the exam. But sometimes you find the exam is 60 and the assessment is 40, continuous assessment is 40. But according to the rules, if you check online, you will see that continuous assessment test is 50 marks and the exam is 50 marks. That is what the policy says. But the only adjustment you'll have is 40-60, 40-60. And I failed this unit since I had everyone gets a C. That's a funny question. That's a funny question. That everyone gets a C. So everyone gets a C. You also want to get a C. And who told you everyone gets a C? It is a lie. Especially students from last year, I taught students from computer science. I just taught the same groups, and there was, in fact, very many A's. I think we had more than 50 A's. Yeah. I taught computer science, software engineering, and they did very well. Very, very well. So these things you are hearing that everybody gets a C, maybe you are getting from other groups who don't work hard. For your information, students from software engineering, computer science, I taught them last year, and they are the last year's class, the second years, they are very hardworking. In fact, did anybody fail? Nobody. The fails I had were from, I also taught a group from security studies and public administration. Those are the ones who failed. I think more than 10 failed. But unless you people want to be the first ones to fail, because last year's class, they performed very, very well, and I was very happy with them. And that's why I even decided to teach this group again, because I was just happy with the grades I was giving. Some of them, in fact, we reached somewhere we were worried of so many S. We were worried of so many S. So if you want to be the first one to fail, then you are the one. The people you had, maybe you had from those other groups that do not work hard. So software engineering, computer science, computer forensics, they are very good students. And in fact, when you teach them, they get ideas very fast. So what you do, just go back to the portal, ensure you have made some notes. Yeah, make some notes on each of those topics. You read and make some short notes. That's how you study. And don't focus so much on the past papers, because that was last year's exam. Yeah. Lecturers will change questions, but the questions will come from what you have learned. Yeah. So lecturers will just change questions too. So don't focus so much on the past papers. Focus on the content that you have been taught. At what is the importance of studying this unit? This unit is very important because you are a young scholar. You are an academic writer. For the next 4 years, you will be writing term papers. And also, when you find NGOs that ask you to write grants, those are academic papers. When you are writing a grant proposal, that's an academic paper. And grants they win funds that change society. So those will work with NGOs. In the next 4 years, when a lecturer gives you a term paper, when he gives you a takeaway assignment, that is a term paper. You are supposed to research and write a term paper. A takeaway assignment, you don't just write a composition and collect. You must write a term paper with what? With the references at the bottom, with the in-text citation. you must learn how to use APA, to write an academic paper. So for the next 4 years, when you get term papers, takeaway assignments, most of them are term papers. Don't write a composition like in high school, and then you collect. There is nothing you will score. So this is a basic unit. It's very important. And those of you who go for masters, you'll do research skills. You'll research. You'll write a thesis, an academic paper. Those who are going to become lecturers like me, a thesis is an academic paper. You see, so this unit, as a scholar, like personally, I have always lived writing papers, writing academic books. You see, that is my profession. So for those who want to become lecturers, and those of you in the next 4 years, you'll be writing term papers, na mtaona tu peka tu haujui kuandika term paper, and then uandikie lecturer composition. You write a composition without references and submit. It will just give you 5/20, and you start crying around. So that's why this unit is important, and that's why it is a university core unit. You need to learn how to write academic papers. Pass mark is 40%. Pass mark 50% is for masters, and also for, is it engineering or medicine? Yeah. I think for medicine is 50%. I don't know about engineering. But for this one here, masters is also 50%, the pass mark. But this one, the pass mark is 40% only. 40% only. If you get 38%, 39%, we are allowed to add you 1 mark. The exam policy, if you get 39%, that means if we add the cut and exam and we get 39, the policy allows us to add you 1 mark to get 50. If you get 38, you fail. If you get 37, you fail. It means you will wait for first years next year and then do the exam with them. If you get that, if you fail, you don't need to attend all the lectures. You just wait for the exam and then go and take a receipt. And if you take a receipt, even if you get 70% in that exam, you just get a D in that unit. Once you fail a unit and you receipt, you cannot get more than a D. Even if you get 80%, it's a receipt. You'll be given a 40%. You'll be given a D. So you only need 28/70 in a receipt. You only need 28/70 in a receipt. So work hard, don't fail, because you don't need to start receipting now. You don't need to start receipting now. So don't listen to those funny stories that everybody gets a C. So ensure you revise and do well. Revise and do well. So thank you for attending. I wish you well in the exam. I wish you well in the exam, but we will continue communicating on the group. We will continue communicating on the group.